Hey everyone, thanks for joining the Ape and Pony Show. This is BP, your favorite ape, joined with Jason the Ape. You got two of us today coming at you. Really excited for today's guest, another industry insider, industry expert, and host of his own show, The Boring Show, the up and coming show on YouTube. Jason, without further ado, thanks so much for joining us today. Welcome. Really glad to have you, and looking forward to the conversation.
Hey man, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's an absolute pleasure and honor just to have some little time with another ape homie to chat a little bit.
You got it, brother. Hey, so for those that haven't tuned in yet or aren't familiar with Jason, tell us a little more about yourself. Give us the Jason the Ape highlight reel in your words.
Well, so I mean, it's one of those things where when you've been around for so long as a man, I feel like I've evolved back into my truest ape version. I came into contact with Jason the Ape on May 1st, and I had this kind of aha moment where I just felt like, wow, this is my true inner animal that's always needed to be out there. And all of a sudden, I just jumped into the idea of speaking as often as I could through the lens of Jason the Ape. So, a little background on Jason the Ape is he was a guy who once upon a time just walked around the world like everyone else looking for something fun to do, but got so damn bored I evolved back into this ape, and I finally feel better. I've found a lot of like-minded people, a lot of artistic homies, a lot of people to actually smoke with, which is, I'm out here on the West Coast, so that's what we do. And man, it just feels good to be in my truest form again, talking to people that think alike and allowing us to all be artistic again. Because I was looking for that artistic vision again in my mind, and I finally feel like I found it again here.
Couldn't agree more. I had a chance to listen to your The Boring Show, and you had an awesome guest on, Jenkins. Everyone, you need to go tune in and listen to that if you missed it. Jenkins the Valet was the inaugural guest there for the Genesis drop of The Boring Show, and one of the things that really resonated with me on there, you mentioned that it's reignited that artistic excitement, and I couldn't agree more. That it's probably the best way I've heard verbalized or put into words the at least personally what's transpired over the last several weeks since that magical night on May 1st, and the collective creativity amongst the community it's unlike anything I've experienced before. What do you have, Jason? Do you have a favorite story or besides May 1st, besides that magical minting night, a favorite ape story since then? Anything stand out?
There's been a lot of awesome, just little ape conversations, and getting to know other people and hanging out at the dog park. We're all trying to figure out which dog is ours. We can't figure it out like for 2 more days, but we're all still hanging out, just trying to like figure it out together. And actually, what's been one of my favorite memories is I went over to Mexico like 2 weeks ago to just get away, chill. And when I came back, I hit up Josh Ong, hit up some other ape homies, and I was just like, I was lost. I need some help getting back into space and just reconnecting with the homies. And every day, the Bored Apes are having these awesome spaces that are just a bunch of people just bullshitting and talking and catching each other up on what cool little tech is happening, what projects are dropping today. Because in this space right now, how we're all trying to be interconnected with our technology, it's hard to keep up, especially when you have your own interests. Like I'm an artist and a smoker, and that combination, like sometimes I'll get lost just creating art for hours, and I feel like I look up and I'm like, oh man, that was actually days. Now I got to get reconnected with the tech world. And all the homies out here have been incredibly helpful with that, because they always make me feel like I can get connected with just like a few posts on Twitter, like, hey, at The Boring Show needs a little bit of help, bam, done.
Jason, tell me about the art background. What type of art? What's the primary medium? Is that what brought you into this world of NFTs?
I mean, as you can see, the Picasso shirt is what made this ape, Jason the Ape, my forever ape. Like as the human version of myself, I have a master's degree in design, which I got in a school in Florence, Italy. And I was blessed to have that experience. And I got my undergrad in design at San Francisco State. Like it's all about education and art for me. And there was a period of time, especially when we're all caught up this last year, just not really sure what's going on with the world, that you kind of forget how to create beautiful things, you know? And all of a sudden, it was like my mind was on fire when I saw this reflection of myself. And it just kind of made me feel like, wow, this is something I could play with. I see everyone else playing with their avatar and recreating the value and the narrative of their own ape. And it just became this brilliant experience I couldn't walk away from. And, you know, I minted 4 brothers total, like 4 apes total. I got rid of 3 of them, and I'm happy to have grown the community. But this one was, like I said earlier, the inner reflection of myself, and it allowed me to really feel artistic again. Like, I know it sounds stupid, but if I look in the mirror, this is more what I want to see than my own reflection, because this is like a pure artist when I look at my Jason the Ape avatar. And it's hard not to want to compete with my own reflection when I see an artist looking me back in the eyes.
Deep. What's next? Do you see, you know, the congratulations, by the way, for kicking off the Boring Show. Phenomenal job getting that launch. It was really a great episode, and looking forward for more to come. Do you see future art projects for Jason the Ape in the future? I heard you mention you maybe get involved in Jenkins' book project. Can you give the listeners any glimpse into what they might be able to see from Jason the Ape in the future?
First and foremost, the Boring Show is what I will be doing a lot of my time. I just started this yesterday, like you said, with Jenkins the Valet Ape, super incredible storyteller, and I was blessed to have him as my first guest. And since then, I've had so many people trying to get on the show already that I've got just a huge list growing. And that's beautiful, because I want to have every single ape that I can come on my show, talk to me about whatever they're into, and just jam out for a little bit, share some thoughts, and kind of grow the community that way by letting everyone realize, like, there's more to everyone than who they are in the real world. The ape avatar will allow them to feel and express themselves in fun, different ways, you know, and that's what Jason the Ape is all about. So going forward, that's my number one priority. I just changed my old Twitter to @the_boring show. And that's where you're going to find all that great information.
Awesome. That's @the_boring show. We'll throw that in the show notes as well. And I think I saw you got I say a good friend of mine. It's I would say unique or odd, but it doesn't feel like that in this space. There's become several friends that I may have connected with on or after even May 1st, and or in some cases, you know, maybe Top Shot or Zed Run prior, but many of them just in the last several weeks here. Some individuals I've got to spend some time with, get a good, you know, had some great conversations, and have a lot of respect for. But I think you got a big hitter coming on your show. I think tomorrow, maybe actually. So we're recording this on Wednesday. This will air after tomorrow's show. But maybe if those who missed it, you want to give them a glimpse of your upcoming schedule here over the next couple of days, those you have lined up.
There's a lot of people lined up, and it's interesting that you say big hitter, because everyone in this space, that's like, at this point, it's such a relative term, because like NFTsAnonymous is one of the biggest known apes in the space, and he will absolutely be on my show tomorrow to give his reborn cheetah character life, and that's going to be super cool. And then also I have someone who has 65,000 followers on Twitter, but I don't really give a shit about that, because we're interviewing Jerome, his ape version of himself, who has nothing except tomorrow to start his journey and explain his narrative. And that's what I'm excited about, is that by having you know, really great people like NFTsAnonymous and this other person, it's slipping my mind right now, boredchairman.eth. You know, these are cool people in the space, but it's fun that we all get to play a little bit together and assume the character roles that we want to. And I think that's really, really great that all those people have that like playful character within them. And then I think I got like 6 more lined up, and I can't even explain how grateful I am that everyone wants to come on and explain their boring story and talk about who they are. And it's beautiful, man.
It is. No, I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, NFT Anonymous was who I was referring to there. I thought I saw he was coming on the show. Really looking forward to it now that I know he's unveiling the cheetah character, huh? I don't know
Yeah.
if I have any glimpse into it. I thought there had to be that had to be quite the topic of between the cheetah gang and the DMT gang, knowing that he was new to, I guess maybe not new to the cheetah squad. I'm not sure if he had his cheetah prior to his big trippy sale or not, but either way, that the profile pic is another level, and another, not just great personalities, great leader, awesome guy, and really both on the fictional and the real life story. Just I'm sure to be an incredible show. So looking forward to that one for sure.
What was funny about that is, the anonymous ape that was associated first with that really fantastic sale that he did, that historic sale of, I think, 50 or 55 ether. He said that character was a villain, but this cheetah character that he's going to be displaying tomorrow, he's still developing that narrative because he hadn't anticipated that being his forever ape until recently, I guess. So I'm very excited to see who that new apes narrative will be and what that will become.
Yeah, it is fun, and I think there's probably goes under, at least as I reflect now, something that, although I'd love to say I've had fun in building businesses over the years and doing more traditional stuff, in the pre-ape life, the not nearly on this level or to the creative level of fun. Fun might have been, going to a ball game or something, or watching some, an NFL Sunday, and certainly had fun and enjoyed those different hobbies. But this sort of, as you put it, reigniting that artistic excitement and that childlike fun is, it just puts you in a different state of mind and opens up levels of creativity in other aspects of life that I think is really, at least again, speaking personally, was underestimated in just day to day in both interactions with others and, in building businesses or whatever your day to day may be when you're not hosting the Boring Show. Just so many amazing people that are, I feel you have the creatives of the world, like the Jenkins, who very gifted writer and incredible skill set to begin with, and this is just fostering more creativity. But you're also seeing individuals probably like myself that wouldn't have necessarily considered myself maybe creative in a business sense, but not creative in an artistic sense. And I find myself dabbling in the arts far more than ever previously, and really excited about just those new experiences, and more excited about meeting more interesting people like yourself. That it's, and I think most of us would agree, irrelevant who's on the other side of that avatar. So I mean, I shouldn't say who, where that person may live or what they may do, and when they're not in that,
like
that world.
The physical world perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
Use to like define someone with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The beauty of this whole situation is like we allow our minds just to speak to each other, and you kind of figure out like who's like-minded in a sense, who might stimulate your interesting thought patterns, who might provoke an interesting conversation that might lead to some kind of artistic vision later on, and I think that's what's been really beautiful about us connecting like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of interesting follows, inspirational follows, any shout outs, any Twitter shout outs? Who is your favorite ape to follow on Twitter? Just all in your if you had to follow one and you couldn't follow any other ape, who would that ape be? I know I'm
Honestly,
really
it would probably be the homie Blockchain Mac. We've been enjoying learning about NFTs together for quite a while. I was on Twitter one day and he just hit me up and said, "Hey man, let's start giving away some NBA Top Shots to people." And so we did it, and we just started talking about NFTs more and more and more. And the day of minting, he minted a psychedelic with a kazoo, with a jacket, with a halo, and I think it's like the 300th rarest ape or something. And, it's been fun to kind of experience this journey with him. And simultaneously, he's come into metaverses that I'm familiar with, like the Uplift world, where we're building Bored Ape Yacht Club playground areas on his land, on my land. I actually have some Bored Ape members who I've just given 3 plots to go build whatever the heck they want, as long as it's ape centric, so that other apes can go hang out in the metaverse. That's different than the sandbox, just always trying to give people something different to play with, because not everyone's built the same way.
That's awesome. So tell me a little more about Uplift. This is a new one for me. Familiar with Sandbox, Decentraland. How does it differ? What do you enjoy more about it? Yeah.
So the biggest difference is that it's on the Wax blockchain.
Okay. Yeah.
And secondary big difference is that it's built on a Minecraft server. So at 37 years old, I started playing Minecraft for the first time. Not only did I start playing it, but I started paying people to professionally build buildings on my land. And so it's kind of crazy. Why would you do this? Because when you buy the land, it's initially quite cheap. As I build my assets on it, it's more valuable, because as people go over your land, you're actually going to be rewarded in Wax token or an in-game token called Upliftium, which will also have resale value for Wax. So it's a really cool metaverse that has a lot of real cool possibilities, but also I was blessed enough that they gave me a community cluster to really just enjoy and build community upon. So I've been having the best time doing that. And that's why I just had the idea the other day, like, why don't I bring some Bored Apes into the metaverse? Give them till the end of August to build whatever they want. They asked for 3 plots, and I was like, yeah, go for it, man. As long as it's ape centric. We had a bunch of apes hanging out in the live stream the other day while we were building, and it was super rad.
That's very cool.
I think that project actually has a land sale that's going live in like an hour or 2. So I'm pretty excited about that too.
That's Wednesday tonight.
Yeah, tonight, Wednesday.
Similar to some of the others, though, that those expect to sell out or shortly after the drop, and I assume you can acquire land on the secondary market on what is it, Atomic?
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Yeah, that's you struck a chord there when you talk about the Minecraft server paying people to build buildings on Minecraft. I was half joking, but not really, in a thread earlier today or yesterday, I can't remember exactly, but about someone I was teasing an NFT project, and someone suggested a sandbox construction company, and I said no, but great guess. It's on the list. We need a builder. And someone said they could see. I should know who it was, but they said they could see kids paying their way through college with building this buildings like this in the metaverse. I was like, or skipping college because they've got a multi-million-dollar digital architect firm by the time they're 18.
That's no joke, man. Like, literally, I was in a clubhouse one day and I told people, hey, I need a really excellent Minecraft builder. And some lady in there was like, hey, I met this kid on Twitter who's he's been just like posted up since COVID, like just playing Minecraft. Yeah, absolutely. Let's connect him. I hit him up. I'm like, hey, you want to make some money building? And I could put you on for some other great people who also will need help building. And I think he's on his 10th or 11th build now, mostly in the Uplift, some in the sandbox, and he went from just like a random Twitter post to now he's started a digital business where in a few years, who knows where that could lead to, so the power of social media and gaming in this new world, like, forget everything you were taught when you were a child rather, because it's all being redefined right now.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's really incredible when you see what's going on with Axie Infinity and just the diversity and the inclusive nature of this industry and everything that's already happening, and to think we're still so early and it's not even begun to reach many parts of the world, and even those that it has very still very, very early, where the masses haven't begun to understand the power and just really exciting to see all that come together. So I will definitely be checking out Uplift World. Is there a link to, I think you mentioned a community space, or if someone's in Uplift World, how would they find
You
Jason's
just
area and your Apeville.
if you type in the uplift into YouTube, more than likely you'll see a video by the Hustle House somewhere. And then if you go into the game, there is a certain map called the Genesis map. You'll see a big cluster towards the bottom that says the Hustle House. It's really amazing. My girlfriend just built this beautiful QR code floating avatar, and she had never played before either. Just kind of figured it out because it was incentivized to get paid to play. It's
Very
hard.
cool.
It's hard when someone says like, "Hey, you want to make a few $100s for playing a video game?" And you're like, "Yeah, I want to do that."
I checked out Alien Worlds over there on Wax, and didn't I just never, I don't know, it was maybe got in a few times, not enough to get any sort of traction myself, but I see whether it's Wax or some of the stuff that is coming out on Matic or Polygon, like Zed, just the gaming world, when we start thinking of what this next, whether it's the upgrade to Ethereum or layer 2 or other side chains, it's just really exciting to think about the possibility of not just gaming in the investment opportunity in NFT space, but the revenue and the income generating opportunity for whether it's those looking to build larger businesses in the space, or even those looking to play to earn, is just creating a whole new economy. And I'm excited to see, or excited to hear that you're leading in that space and helping others get started. I think what you're doing there with a few apes is also probably signs of big things to come. So appreciate you including them. Yeah.
It's too hard not to want to include them. If I have a little bit of extra anything, I've been looking out, and I love that the ape community does that. I saw that one of my homies just had some extra Galaxy tickets, so he said, "Hey, any apes, come get them," and I've been seeing a lot of ape on ape love, and that's kind of a beautiful thing.
For sure. So Jason, tell me, you've talked, land, a few other projects. Before we talk about like what you look for in a new project, what was it that attracted you to Bored Apes? How did you find the yacht club to begin with?
So really, guys, I would love to say that I had some super guru insight or something, but really it's about just being very active in social communities. And I happen to be very active in as many communities that will allow me to participate. And I saw that all my NBA Top Shot guys all of a sudden one night had changed their avatars to these really awesome, colorful apes. And I just was like, wow, okay, everyone has these all of a sudden. What the hell what's going on? And I hit up Blockchain Mac, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, you got to look at these apes. You can still grab them for, I think it was zero point 0.2 ether." So I hit up my homie and I said, "Grab some of these if you can. I'm gonna mint some." And I bought 3, and then a minute later was like, "Nah, I should do one more." And that last one that I did on the second thought ended up being Jason the Ape, my forever ape. So it was really exciting to just have that moment. And all that it was I was really blown away by the fact that like it said you had to have this in your wallet in order to access certain things. And that just like that hit me in a new way, because every NFT project so far that's just like art driven really didn't have utility or function. And I've always been a believer that an NFT has to have utility to really succeed, and then randomization just to really excite people. And this kind of had both of those simultaneously. So as soon as I saw those two things, I was like, all right, this is as much as I can afford to drop. I think it was like $850 for all 4 of them or something at the time. And that's the story of how I came across these 4 apes that I minted, and now I'm just down to this one beloved Jason the Ape.
Good looking ape. And I think you the things you hit on there, the utility and the randomness and how they did the drop, it's no secret so many others have attempted to emulate or copy the Bored Ape drop experience in the club and or other different elements with their own twist. And I think it's, not the first to say it's, imitation, the finest form of flattery. And they did some incredible things, and some of the other projects that have come after him have been impressive as well. And I going to be really interesting to see what, what the next 6 months hold, as it seems like the last 6 weeks has been far more than 6 weeks. You say May 1st, and it could have been 2 years ago, and I wouldn't have questioned it. I agree. The communities and getting involved and paying attention, do your own research, but paying attention and being alert. Twitter has been a great resource. You mentioned Blockchain Mac. Any other favorite Twitter follows? Anyone else you want to give a shout out to? Do you have a favorite whale?
I mean, my favorite whale personally is TC, but he's a wax whale via Our Planet and The Uplift. But if you guys are familiar with Our Planet, it's a fantastic staking NFT staking game that pays you out passively, and it's pretty incredible because at one point, depending on the market fluctuation, at one point I think I had gotten up to about $70,000 passively a year. It's dropped quite a bit since then because the market and whatnot. I think it's at like $35,000-$40,000 passively a year, but that's just from one NFT game. And TC is the guy who taught me how to compound. So I only started with a little bit. Every day you would take what you acquired and you'd reinvest it and compound and compound and compound. And that's one of the most valuable lessons any whale will ever teach you. And anyone who wants to be a whale, learn how to compound.
Very cool. Any other really informed or knowledgeable? You've mentioned a couple great ones with Blockchain Mac and TC. Anyone else out there that is a must follow?
Yeah, man. Honestly, you guys got to follow Jenkins the Valet because he's on a really cool narrative of just explaining what it is to be a common ape. He's just a valet, nothing special about him, but he just happens to see a lot of really cool things. And through his, ability to tell stories, and the fact that he's allowing the community to kind of drive the narrative with being able to vote on how the story goes, we're going to end up with something really cool produced by Jenkins the Valet. And then we also have Josh Ong, which is, I think, Beijing's on Twitter. I don't know what he calls his ape, but Josh is one of the coolest people in the space and always available to help people understand this space better. And it seems like he knows everything. Honestly, I don't get it. But it's hard to name everybody. Honestly, there's been really cool people in the space who have sent me gear. Slam Diego sent me a hoodie with his Bored Ape on it and a t-shirt the other day, and that was just so cool. So there's so many good people. Honestly, I'm just happy to meet more and more amazing people every day, and the fact that more members are parting with their extra apes and allowing new apes to come in is kind of one of the best things that I've seen in a long time, because it shows that the community wants to grow.
Agreed. Do you think we get to 5,000?
Oh yeah, dude. I think it'll go way more. Like, I think honestly, at some point it'll be like 7. I don't think it'll ever be like completely dispersed. There's some people that no matter what, they have to have a few, but it could get up pretty high.
Very cool. Yeah, you mentioned a lot of great ones. Josh actually was on. We had Josh and his ape Maui Prime last episode. So for those of you listening, if you missed episode 2, definitely give Josh a listen. Just incredible stuff. I agree. It does seem like he knows everything. I referred to him last week as the community connector. And even if it's something he may not be the subject matter expert on or the most knowledgeable, it feels like seems like he knows someone or is connected to someone inside a project or specific sector of the industry that is the subject matter expert on, and just an all around great guy. So couldn't agree more with those recommendations. If someone has an ape and they'd like to come on the Boring Show, where do they find you, Jason?
At _Boring Show on Twitter, or you can hit me up at the Hustle House.
And we'll throw both those in the notes. So back to, you've been in the space a little longer than May 1st. If we can think back to the pre-ape days, What was Project One? Do you remember that? Your first NFT project?
Oh man. Actually, I do remember I tried to make a collage of Elon Musk, the Dogecoin dog, and Charles Hoskinson from Cardano. And I tried to blend them into an image and sell it for a ridiculous amount of money. No one ever bought it. And I looked at it the other day and it was absolutely horrible. And I just thought how proud I was of myself for how far I've come from that, because that was some garbage, man.
Had to get started though. That first one is, you took action.
I've always been the kind of person who runs into a room and then just like looks up and, oh, okay, this is where I'm at now. And people just let me be there. And then I learned that way. And I've experienced life that way. I just kind of stumble into everything. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's what I did with this, man. I just kind of like stumbled into it and here I am.
Very cool. Are you, despite when you're not hosting shows, are you a consumer? Do you have any favorite podcasts or streams out there that you're a big fan of?
Honestly, when you're starting, it's really good to focus on people you can trust. But you have to trust different people based on what you find interesting. So the thing I would say is don't just blindly follow anybody. If you hear somebody, listen to 2-3 more people, and then just try to figure out what the median is that they're saying. Like, what is it that they're really all saying? Because everyone at the end of the day is trying to sell you something. Most cryptocurrency people are trying to tell you to buy something that they are holding because they want you to buy it so they can sell you their coin. So really, 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 like, being in the crypto space for as long as I have, it's taught me to not trust people. And that's why I kind of love the fact that Jason the Ape gets to trust people more openly and talk more openly. But like, pre-ape days, it kind of bends your mind. And in this space, you can't really trust anybody. Like I saw that some hackers stole 20 some ether from a fellow brother ape from a sale he had the other night. And it's, all you can think of is like, what URL did he click that someone got into his computer somehow? So
brutal. Do you hear, do your own research? It's, people say it often, whether you trust or question, do you have a method, a process, a way to that you go through when you're researching a new project, or anything you can share on that?
Yeah, that's the power of social media right there, is you have to learn how to utilize what that project has delivered. So like, let's say there's this new up and coming crypto that everybody's raving about. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to their Twitter page and see what sort of social media presence they have on Twitter, because guess what? If you're relevant in crypto, you're relevant on Twitter. It's just how it works. Then I would go over to their website and I would see how kept up is that website? Is it under the construction? Does it look like it's actually really well put together? Does it look like they're updating things? So that's another thing. Check that website every few weeks to see if they're updating their website, because a good project is on top of their things. They're adding deliverables. They're hitting markers on their roadmap, and you're going to see their website evolving with them with time, and that's a project statement to me, is like an upkept website. And then on top of it, you're going to join their Discord. You're going to join their Telegram. You're going to reach out to the CEO. You're going to reach out to the social media team via Twitter, via email, and just kind of ask them a few questions. Just read their white paper, read their roadmap, get a sense of what that project's about, and then ask them the dumbest, simplest questions about it. And if they can answer that and not be condescending, and they tend to find the time, that's the project I'm willing to put my money in, most likely, because there might be other projects that they don't have time to talk to you and whatever. But there's a lot of projects out there that you'd imagine they have a person that's dedicated just to taking care of social media. And if they care, they'll give you the time of day. And that's the kind of stuff that makes me comfortable to invest. Like Bored Ape Yacht Club. I hit up them on Twitter. The day after I got my 4 apes, they followed me. We started talking in the DMs, and I was like, oh, these are good people. I'm down.
Mm-hmm. A lot of great advice, Jason. Everything you mentioned there, really key elements, and hey, they may not be the best, and maybe they're Telegram isn't the most active. Maybe they don't have one, but you can read a lot through, as you mentioned, their Twitter, their Discord, their white paper. Do they have one? Do they have a roadmap? Some of those, and the key thing that you hit on there at the end, the communication piece, and an interesting nugget of even the simplest question. Do they blow it off? Are they condescending? You may know the answer. If they don't, is that'll tell you a lot, as well as how they answer things. Even the simplest of questions, sometimes it's an interesting way to look at it. And I think all these, no one's perfect. At least I haven't experienced any projects yet that are perfect, but some of my most memorable moments of projects are ones where there's been a challenge or a moment of adversity, a struggle with a drop, and how the whether it was the community lead or the founders or the leaders within the project, how they responded, how they communicated following those challenging moments has been really has really been telltale times. And we unfortunately we've seen the other side of it too, where they either will brush something under the rug or will look the other way, not address something head on, and unfortunately we've seen a few of those projects fizzle. But that communication piece and I think the constant communication and I don't know if transparency is quite the right word I'm looking for, but just it feels like an openness. You mentioned you'd be in the DMs with a CEO or the lead on a project that most are very accessible, and if they're not, it doesn't. To me, it would almost be something that doesn't feel right. I mean, in the traditional world, it would be odd if they are so accessible, but here what do you mean you're not going to willing to talk to members in the community or engage members in the community? It would be almost hard to envision a project like that lasting. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the most important parts of any project, is you'll see that it's the community involvement, right? So like you said, if there's like a drop timer error, for a project, how does that team respond? Are they mean in their comments? Or are they like, hey guys, we're fixing it, just hang tight? Those little things matter a tremendous amount. So, I mean, you just kind of just got to pick and choose.
Good stuff, Jason. I've really enjoyed getting to know you a little better today. I'm super excited about the Boring Show, especially if the ones to come are anything like the first one with Jenkins. Not to keep plugging his project, but it's just that it really personifies so many of the other projects, so much of the other creativity that's taken place. It's not just talk and conversation in Discord or on Twitter, but action that's being taken, and not just by someone who's super creative, but taking action and involving the community in the way he's doing is really creative, and looking forward to you introducing and inspiring. I think that's part of it too. Just, as I mentioned, the one of the notes I took from your conversation was that re-energizing that or reigniting that artistic excitement. And it just got me thinking about what this space has done to pull out some of that artistic thought and mindset in myself. So appreciate you and all you're doing to lead the space and share other stories and highlight them. It's certainly a key part of what we are building collectively here. And I one of the clips I shared from the show last week with Josh was just that, how we really need everyone has different roles in this space, from the whales who, and the market makers to those that are out there on social media, just grinding. And you mentioned it, you came back from, a little hiatus, and within a few minutes you felt like you could get up to date on Twitter because you've got some buddies who are they're in the weeds on everything and in the know. And at the same time, you need members of the media and individuals like yourself to host shows and highlight members of the community that are doing stuff. So on behalf of myself and the listeners of the Ape and Pony Show, thank you for being a leader in the space and highlighting so many others, and appreciate you coming on today. Hopefully it's the first of many.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I appreciate you very much. And I absolutely would love you to come and be a guest on the Boring Show as well. Where we could do the exact same thing, but let me ask you some questions, because, it's always fun to be asked, but it's also, for me, I love asking people questions, man. So I'll be honored if you come on soon.
Yeah, the honor be mine. I'm happy to return the favor. So looking forward to it. We'll get that booked, and Again, thanks for joining us today. Before I wrap here, anything else you want to tell the listeners, or any questions I didn't get to ask today that you were hoping you get to talk about?
The only thing I would say is I'm really looking forward to seeing the variety of dogs that we're all about to come into.
Yes.
And I'm super, super excited that just kind of randomly popped up, because speaking of that artistic thought, like we think about just like, oh, this ape and you're doing variations. Well, like now I get to play with this dog also. So like I'm excited because that kind of sparked a whole different set of thoughts in terms of artistic creation. So shout out to the Bored Ape Yacht Club for keeping my art mind on fire. I appreciate you guys. And I appreciate you very much for hosting this episode today, bro. Thank you.
No, my pleasure. And likewise on the dogs. I think I caught that on your show yesterday. You're a big dog fan. Any favorite dog stories?
I mean, honestly, I'm just trying to fixate on like, if anyone gets a pink dog with a flipped up brim hat,
So you're going for the match. You're going for you want the pink fur.
Yeah, man.
Flipped up.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not getting rid of my matching dog, because like I want my matching serial number dog, but I need to adopt that second dog that looks like me, because I'm all about that.
All right. So we're on the lookout. Anyone catches a dog with pink fur, hit up Jason the Ape. He's scouting and this guy, in a past life, he might have been known as the Hustler or a Hustle, or hosted the show called the Hustle House. And I think I might have saw you were pulling off a trade of maybe like 3 or 4 different projects, and willing to get creative and outside the box. So
I'm always trading NFTs for other NFTs. That's one of my most favorite fun things to do. Like I traded 2 Bored Apes for different metaverse lands. I want to keep trading with people.
We will keep an eye out for the pink dog. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to coming on the Boring Show. Thanks again for getting that spun up. And listeners, thanks for tuning in today. We really appreciate you. Stay bored, friends.
Later, guys.